Oh yeah. All right, we're live. Need a button up. Keduka no day. We are live. We are live. We are live. I'm waiting for everybody to come in. So usually I set like a number, and then I say once we hit that number, then I'm gonna go ahead and begin. So the number for today will be 20. We'll do 20 again. Once we get 20 people in here, I'll go ahead and begin with today's live about Onwa Ifeke, the Ikenga moon, the third moon, moon number 3. Okay. This one is going to be very casual. So if you want like an in-depth breakdown, I have done a video on Onwa Ifeke before. I don't have the link of it. Unu niile ị nọ na? Hey, Chimoge, kedu ka ị dị? Come on with that dialect. Cool. He says, so I've done a live on Onwa Ifeke. Now, I don't have the link at hand right now, so you guys can look through the videos and find that one for Onwa Ifeke if you want an in-depth breakdown. Though I have a tendency to run my mouth, it's my job, so I probably will break it down as well. But if you're expecting a breakdown of this video, or how do I put it this way? Don't expect it. Don't expect it. This is not the breakdown video. This is me talking about how I'm going to do it and how you can do it. All right. Right now we got 8 people in, but we only have 6 people that have hit the like button. So if you're in, hit the like button. We want to make sure we got 8 to 8. So right now we're looking at 8 to 6. Now it's 10 to 6. That means some of y'all are not hitting the like button. All right. Now we got 9 likes and 8 people in there. So something really good just happened. 10 likes and 7 people. I don't know if this is a good thing. 12 likes and 7 people. I don't even know what's going on. Maybe YouTube is off or something. 9. Once we get to 20, we are going to kick this thing off and begin. Dalono. Kedukwano. Unu abolachi. Hello, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Awesome. Once we get to 22, we'll kick it off. We are at 13, but we only have 12 likes. We want to make sure we have 13. So whoever has not hit the like button. It helps the channel somehow. I've never looked into how, but everybody, my brothers do YouTube, and they always tell me to tell people to hit the like button, and they were earlier on this than I am, so I take their advice. 14, 13. Somebody has not hit like. All right, 14. Hello, brother. Hey, Favor. Kedukidi. How are you? Kekidi. All right, Chimoge says, Arim nwanne m nwoke. Ngekwanụ, mụ na onwe m adị mma. Adị mma. I remember when you first started going up on Twitter. Yeah. Probably been maybe 2 years now. It's probably been 2 years now. Yeah. So Twitter was one of the first places to really support the channel. So shout out to everybody who is coming in from Twitter. By the way, if you guys want to post where you found my channel from, I'm really not into social media anymore, so I kind of want to narrow down what I'm using, and I want to use wherever people are at. So, yeah, I'm really just not. I'm not trying to hear about Will Smith anymore. I'm not trying to hear about fucking Will Smith slapping people anymore. 16 to 14, 2 people have not hit like. Who are you? If you have not hit the like button, hit the like button. I just found this channel yesterday. I've been binging. Chica, kedukide. Welcome. 31 and just found out what my name really means. Okay, cool. That's always good to hear. 17 to 16. So that means you guys are really on your job. 17, 16. I typed Igbo cosmology on YouTube. Okay, super cool. Yeah, I think I got that one cornered. Igbo cosmology. Thank you for picking me. I know there's a lot of options. I would check them out too. Some of the best ones are in Igbo. So if you're trying to, if you can speak the language, cool. If you can't, they're a good way to learn is by watching them. I started with one of your vids one of your vids suggested randomly. Interesting. I hope YouTube's recommending my videos, man, because like you can see like if the people watching are like people that have watched before, and like almost everyone watching is people that have watched before. So I'm like, is YouTube even recommending this to new people the way it's supposed to? So, but either way, we got a really awesome community, and a lot of support. So whatever the hell's going on, I'm with it. I'm grateful for it. No breakdown this evening. LOL. You're not playing any. Malachi, Kedukide. What's going on? Kedukide. I'm looking forward to catching up with you after everything we talked about, by the way. So cool, cool, cool. Yeah. YouTube. Everybody's saying YouTube. Maybe I should just leave the other I typed leave. Okay, yeah. Where did you guys the question I asked, we're gonna start once we hit 20 people are in here. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So we'll just hang out until then. 15 and 20 all hit like. So a couple of people went home, which is fine. It's late. So I'm trying to figure out where you found this channel. Where did you guys find my channel from? A lot of you guys are saying that YouTube recommended it or you searched on YouTube. Let me know where you found the channel from, okay? Because I'm really getting tired of social media. I'm burnt out. I'm not burnt out. I'm just too old. Is this the moon that's dedicated to warriors? Yes. Ha 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 ha. Yes, this is the moon dedicated to warriors. And Mr. Ha 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 ha. By the way, I've not forgotten your email. I just haven't had time, so I'm going to give it a stab this weekend. But yeah, this is the one that this is the warrior moon. This is the warrior moon. Funny enough, what you sent me is related to what I'm going to discuss today, so you'll catch it. Twitter discussing hoodoo and Igbo origins. Oh, interesting, interesting. Cool, 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 cool. Shout out to the hoodoo community. You guys are like showing a lot of love. I get a lot of people that say, "Oh, I was talking about hoodoo and somebody brought up your channel. I was talking about hoodoo." I get that a lot. So, like, shout out to you guys, man. And I'm glad you guys are seeing the parallels. One of my patrons is from the I don't want to say a state wrong, North Carolina area, and same type of tradition, everything like that. And he's like, I consider him a historian of the area, and the people around him consider him too. And so he's been really instrumental in pointing out some of those parallels. And then of course, my friend Hess, I hope she's in here. She has been really good at pointing out those parallels between Igbo cosmology and the hoodoo traditions in the Chesapeake, kind of DC, Virginia, North Carolina area. So thanks, shout out to the two of them. And shout out to everybody from the hoodoo community that's been supporting. I have been studying hoodoo for about a year now, so I may make a few videos on the topic because it's very related. So where did you find this channel? That's what we're discussing. Hey, we've hit 20. We've hit 20. We've hit 20. We've hit 20. Okay, cool, 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 cool. All right, we're going to begin. Aries also related to origins. Wonderful. Moon on time, strong energy. Wonderful. Came up on my YouTube feed one day while I was watching a Nollywood movie. I was happy because I've been searching for a year. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I'm trying to figure out how y'all found my channel. Think it came up as a recommendation on YouTube. Okay, wow, YouTube's really doing its job. Okay, yeah, so I can take a breather from social media. Searched Odinani and found you. Trying to learn Igbo since my father didn't think it was important. Chasing perfection. So I'm gonna send you a link. I actually launched an Igbo language school. www.kedu.me. Let me do the wwws too. Kedu.me. I don't know if you've signed up already. But it's an Igbo language school. So what I'm doing is it's a two-part I'm looking at everything I'm doing as a two-part project, right? And as our ancestors said, everything comes as madu and more. You understand? So the medicine shell is more. This one is madu, right? This is the Igbo that Kedu is the Igbo that you can use on a day-to-day and that kind of thing. So it is an Igbo language school. So like you can sign up to have like a coach who's like walking through it with you, or you can sign up for like a full course where you have a course, you're being taught different portions of the language, and then you also have the coach so that you're learning in real time and practicing and that kind of thing. So classes are usually like 3 months. We are reaching the end of our current session. Shout out to all of the students from Kedu, and there's a class going on right now, and I hate to do this because like a lot of them are missing out, but they'll be coming in later anyways. But there's a class going on right now for Igbo 1. So those of you that are going to be watching this after, shout out to you guys. It is blowing my mind how much you guys are learning. I'm really surprised at how well the formula is working as far as learning Igbo and things like that. As far as myself, we conduct business 100% in Igbo, and it is helping me improve my language ability. But we hit 20 earlier. Found your channel on Google. I wanted to know more about Igbo cosmology. Cool. Anybody interested, look up Igbo landing. Cool. Majority of Igbo people brought across land were enslaved by the British colonies in the Americas. Yes. That is 100% true. Aries related. Okay. Narrow it down. Recommended YouTube channel. Also, it's like YouTube, but less censored. If you want to narrow it down, I would recommend using YouTube. And also, yeah, it looks like I need to just focus on YouTube because everything else is like tiring me out. All right. As always, if you are following the ancestral method and you are kicking off anything, if you're starting any meeting of people, if you have guests in your house, if you're visiting your altar to speak to your ancestors, anything you're doing of that nature begins with the tradition that I'm about to show right now. This is Iwachi. Iwa Oji, the breaking of the Oji, right? So what you're going to do is, so I'm finally seeing the, okay, cool. Thank you very much. Untiring efforts. Anyway, I'm tired though. There's nothing untiring about anything. Thank you. I appreciate it. Anyways, yeah, so this tradition, I'll talk about that later. This tradition is known as Iwaji. It is the breaking of the Oji. If you're visiting your altar, if you have guests in the house, anything between you and other people, our ancestors say that it is not proper unless you break Oji in the beginning of it. So what I'm going to do now, traditionally, I would bring the Oji out, or the woman of the house would bring the Oji out. She would get her praises and she'd give it to the eldest person who would take a look at it. Then we'll pass it around the room so everybody takes a look at it and touches it once, and it goes back to the eldest man in the room, and that man does a prayer for everybody. Now, I know that there's people here that are older than me, so I'm presenting the Oji in front of you. Traditionally, if you're older than me and you want to give and I'm supposed to do the prayer or do the speech, you would nod your head to give me approval. So if you're older than me, I'm presenting the Oji. Give me the nod. If you can give me the nod, I would appreciate it. I'm going to assume you guys gave me a nod of approval so that I can do that, because Igbo culture is very, very, very strict on jurisdiction, right? There's jurisdiction. You don't step into somebody else's space because everybody's space is sacred. So if there's something that is reserved for somebody, I don't come and start doing it without getting their acknowledgement as far as that goes. So that being said, Gaibido, well, let's begin. Do you break a new cola each time? Malachi, I'm away from home. So I've actually been managing the same bitter cola, you understand, and breaking off little tiny pieces of this very old Oji. If you dip it in water, it comes back to life, but that kind of thing. So I'm away from home, so I've been managing the little whim that I have. So that being said, Kaibido, Okike Keruwa, Oji Abiala, Alawala, Ala nne mmadụ na nne mmụọ, ala mụrụ ndị mbụ na ndị egede, ndị mmadụ niile, eji m ọjị na-ekele gị, nine. Eji m ọjị na-ekelekwe ndị iche anyị, ndị soro eke abịa ụwa, ndị soro orie na-abịa ụwa, ndị soro afọ na-abịa ụwa, ndị soro nkwọ na-abịa ụwa. Ka anyị kelekwe unu niile, ma mmụọ na-esoro anyị, ke na-ekuzi anyị, ke na-edum anyị, ke na-eme anyị ndozi, na nke na-enye anyị ije ọma, ije Chineke kere ka anyị gaa n'ụwa. Eji m ọjị na-ekele unu. Ọjị m ji n'aka bụ ọjị ndị iche anyị. Ọjị Chukwu nyere ndị iche anyị ka ha bịa n'ụwa, ma onwe ha, ji onwe ha, nwere otu obi, otu uche, otu aka, otu ụkwụ, na-aga n'okike ekere ka ha gaa n'ụwa. Eji m ọjị ike na-ekelekwe unu niile, ụmụ Igbo, Auchechi ndewo nụ. Na-ekelekwe nnụ. Werekwe ya mana onye ọbụla na-ele ọjị anya lere ndụ mana ọjị bụ ndụ. Ọ ga-adị n'ahụ n'eke na orie na afọ na nkwọ ise. All right, Kaibido. It is a new moon. We are in the Ikenga moon number 3. You say yes, receive it, receive it. I had to give Uchechi her acknowledgments because she's a chief. Uchechi's our only Igbo 2 student. Everybody's at Igbo 1, she's at Igbo 2. So because of that, she has to get her respect. So one cool. So I'm glad you could make it. So yeah, let us begin. So we have officially hit a new moon. This is Onwa Ife Eke. Onwa Ife Eke. This is the Ikenga moon number 3. As you know, the number 3 is the Ikenga number because all things in creation come in 2s. So when you see 1, it is incomplete. 1 by itself is incomplete. But at the same time, the incompleteness of 1 is what gives it its power because 1 is the builder of all other numbers, right? 1 is the mother of all other numbers or the father of all other numbers, however you want to conceptualize it, is 1. You understand? But when it enters creation, 1 then becomes 2, 1 and 2. As the ancestors say, abo is 2. So the world comes in 2s, or this universe is a universe of 2s. That's what I just said, right? So there's 2. But that thing, that spark that starts at 1 becomes 2, makes its will manifest as 3. So those 2 things come together and create a 3. And that third is the Ikenga, right? That third is linked to purpose. So the number 3 is the number of movement, right? Is the kinetic number in Igbo numerology, is the kinetic number. Anytime you see the number 3, know that it is referencing, well, it's vast, but one of the things that it is referencing is the concept of the Ikenga, right? So that if I'm brought into the world for a purpose, I am brought in, something else enters creation with me, and then the 2 of us together, Mado and Mo, make that thing happen, right? The union of the 2 of us make that thing happen. And the movement towards that thing is the number 3. The number 3. So we are now in moon number 3. I've broken down the previous year. I broke down every single moon, what it means, different things to acknowledge, alignments, and so forth, wherever they popped up, wherever they're necessary. So if you want to go back to that, I have that all on my channel. Just go type in ONWA, Onwa, and in my search, and you'll get them all lined up from 1 to 13. So this is my first time. Always glad to meet new people. The Jason, Kedukede. Welcome. Awesome. That brought tears. Damn, feels like Ifunaya. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. So number 3, the number 3 is the kinetic number. The number 3 is the number of the Ikenga. The Ikenga is when you are brought into creation, or when you are created, there's a reason you are created, right? There's a reason you are created, and when I say reason, a lot of our contemporary thinking would lead to like action. So like, oh, I'm supposed to come and do a specific thing, but that's not really it. There is a full manifestation of you. There's a full manifestation of you. So I myself, I was brought into creation, and there's a lot of different things that came into creation with me. And they all came in with me for a very specific reason. And they are all linked to whatever that thing or that space or that purpose I was created to occupy, right? So that if I move towards that space and I occupy that space, I am impervious. I will win. In fact, I have already won. It's left for me to go and collect my trophy, right? Go and collect my Oscar, that kind of thing, right? So there's a bigger, like I've discussed this before in our previous one. There's a bigger you, right? A big manifestation of you, and all of those things are like almost consider them as equipment necessary to do that specific job, right? Just the same way you call a plumber. Plumber's going to come with that belt, that type of thing, so on and so forth, right? So our celestial belt is going to have a whole bunch of different things linked with us, but the combined power of all those things, the power necessary for me to be, do, occupy whatever it is I was brought into creation to manifest, is called the Ikenga. Is called the Ikenga. The Ikenga is known as it's called the cult of the right hand, right? That's one of the names it's given, kind of in the contemporary terms. It is your ability, your divine ability to do, your divine ability to do. So that if you were brought into the world to be um, a business person, right? You have Onwa here, right? Onwa here, the Onwa of business. You've given the divine authority to do business. Any business you pursue will succeed. And every single thing you need to succeed, you already have. That is a part of that utility belt, your ikenga, that you already have to do that thing, right? One of the things we discussed kind of a few weeks ago was the idea or the ilu that says that if the chi of a blind man sends him into battle, it has already accounted for his blindness. So if your chi has it brought you in to go into a specific battle, you are going to win. You are equipped with the ikenga necessary to win. There's another ilu that says that so long as my ikenga is active, I can wrestle in the world of spirits. Now, where does that come from? This comes from the story of Ojadili. Ojadili was the greatest wrestler of all time. In the world of mortals, there was no human being who could pin Ojadili on his back. In fact, Ojadili had traveled through the entire world and had defeated the champion of every single village that was presented to him, to the point that Ojadili had become bored with humanity. He didn't see anything in the mortal space that can challenge him. He was a champion of the world. And so, in his boredom or arrogance, he decided to enter Alam-Mo, since he has mastered Alam-Mado. Alam-Mo is the world of the spirits. And he said that I'm going to enter the world of the spirits and I'm going to defeat the champions they have there, and I'm going to return as the champion of both worlds, right? Of the universe, that kind of thing. So people told him, Ojadili, nobody goes into Alam-Mo and returns. Once you go to Alam-Mo, you're in Alam-Mo. That's it. Don't go, that kind of thing. And Ojadili told them that so long as my Ikenga is active, I can wrestle in the world of spirits, right? So long as my Ikenga is alive, active, I can wrestle in the world of the spirits, that type of thing. So the Ikenga is what you, again, in order to be you, in order to manifest your truth, that is what you're equipped with in order to do that thing. Now, the space between you and your truth is an absolute victory. If you go after it, it will happen. You are 100% equipped to make that thing happen, right? It's like a tree is 100% equipped to extend itself, that type of thing. Water is 100% equipped to be wet, right? If it can't be wet, it won't be water, right? That type of thing. You know, the earth is equipped to spin. It's going to happen. It will happen, right? That type of thing. Now, when it becomes a little bit different with humans, because we have this thing, our foremind, which allows us to say, I don't know. I don't believe, yes, this is my truth, but I don't know if it's going to work out. I'm not 100% sure about that. Or, yeah, that's my truth. It resonates with me, blah, 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 but I don't feel like I have what it takes and da-da-da-da. So I'm just going to go over here and do this. I used to have that mentality a lot too about a lot of different things, right? It made me make a lot of crazy decisions that, looking back at it now, more aware of myself and things like that, I really wonder what the hell I was thinking at the time. But then it made sense because that was the general social conditioning, right? In order for you to be the thing you're supposed to be, you got to go to that person and go through this door and be part of this company and talk to this guy and learn about that thing and that's or whatever, right? That type of thing. But the way our ancestors saw it, your truth, you're the only person who knows your truth, right? And the manifestation of your truth can only be done by you. You're the only person. But that when you're ready to manifest that truth, it's going to work. Your Ikenga will make it happen. You are already equipped to do that thing, right? You're 100% equipped to do that thing. The Ikenga of my eyes are equipped to see this screen right now and it's happening, right? If I can't see, something's wrong, you know, unless I was born that way, then that's just who I am. But if all of a sudden right now I'm looking and it goes off, something's wrong. That type of thing. The truth my eyes have is seeing. That type of thing. So my eyes don't sit there and say, "Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm supposed to be seeing, but I'm not going to open up because some scary things out there." Right? There's another ilu that our ancestors use that say that there's nothing that the eyes will see that'll make it bleed. That's kind of why I use that the eye analogy. There's nothing that the eyes will see that'll make it bleed. So that in the pursuit of your truth, there's nothing that you will encounter that will break you or whatever. The actual is it not the pursuit. Pursuit makes it sound like it's something away from you. It's internal. It's already with you, right? So let's say the manifestation of your truth. In manifesting your truth, it's yours. It's going to happen, right? If you have the all for egu, right, and all for to create music, go create music. You will be successful. Don't worry about it. I don't know. According to statistics, 45% of African American men. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about any of that, right? Just go. Just do it. If you have the offer, go. And you know what your chi is telling you better than anybody else, right? So those of you thinking, oh, well, what's my chi telling me? You already know. You already know. It's the thing it's the it's the thing that feels truer than the rest of the things you know. You already know what your truth is. You already know who you are. Following your chi is following your truth. Following your truth is following yourself. So just being who you actually are. Being who you actually are. That type of thing, right? That type of thing. So yeah. One of the examples I always use is that I always wanted to help out at home, back home in Nigeria, and I thought that like politics was the way because like those people have authority and the money and things like that, and they can make things happen. So I said, okay, let me start paying attention to politics, and that shit turns my stomach. I hate it, right? And I, like recently, I stopped. Not recently, I think it's been like 2-3 years now. I stopped watching the news, and I felt great, right? Now, what happened there? I was doing something that really wasn't me because I thought it would lead me to something else, right? Meanwhile, I have this compulsion to share about our ancestral traditions and things that has started since I was like at minimum 11, right? Minimum 11. I just this compulsion to learn something and go share it with somebody else. And I thought that thing wasn't going to do anything. You know, but yeah, politics. Yeah. Oh man, Joe Biden said that about Trump. Oh man, that's crazy. And then I stopped that because it wasn't me. And then all of a sudden, poof. I was like, oh, okay, I was deceiving myself, that kind of thing. So that's the Ikenga, right? The thing I'm doing right now, my Ikenga has the capacity to do it, right? It will work. Whatever I do in this space, it's going to work. I have the all fall of run your mouth on YouTube. I don't know what the term would be for it, but I have that thing. I have that thing. It's going to work. You understand? And that's the thinking of the Ikenga. That is how you think as far as the Ikenga goes. And once you are fully ready to embrace yourself, go for it. Do it. Do it while learn while you're doing it. Whatever you're supposed to learn, the lessons will be like tokens on the road, but just keep walking, that kind of thing. Oh man, I gotta get certified before I start. Sorry, that kind of thing. So, um, I think I have some kind of like exhaustion going on because like I'm tripping right now, but I'm really tired, and so yeah, but the Ikenga. So the Ikenga, that thing, if it belongs to you, your Ikenga will see you to victory. If it does not belong to you, it won't happen, right? So when you go after something, you take a loss, it is learning. Imagine for an ofeke, right? Just the everyday person, life or the world, the spiritual space, more is like a room with the lights off. It's dark, right? And if you haven't trained your eyes to see in the dark, when you walk and you bump into something, right? You at least know, okay, there's a wall here. Okay, there's a laptop here. There's a bed over here, that kind of thing. Bumping into things will teach you. So those losses, okay, I'm trying to get to the door and I keep bumping into things. Bump, okay, oops, that's not what it is. Let me keep going that way. But the space between me and the door is going to be clear. That is the Ikenga. And all those bumps are learning. It's a way of learning. It's a way of learning. So go after it. There's an Ilu. The Ikenga is intimately tied with the ram, and there's an Ilu that says that what was it? The ram enters battle head first, right? So anything pertaining to the Ikenga manifests in animal form as the ram. One of its manifestations is the ram, right? So if you look at a ram, if you look at the behavior of a ram or the way a ram fights, that is exactly how you learn about the Ikenga, right? People have said like, oh, there needs to be an Odinani Bible. There needs to be a book about Odinani. And I'm very against that idea. So one of the reasons I'm against that idea is because the universe is the Bible of Odinani, right? So if you want to look at the book of Ram, that Ram will teach you something about the thing we reference as Ikenga and life itself. If you look at the book of Elephants, that thing is going to teach you about Enyi and Okike in a way that we talk about it and that kind of thing. You look at the world teaches you. The world teaches you. The universe teaches you. Chukwu manifests as the living universe. The Chukwu I can touch is the world itself. And that's why in ancestral cosmology, all these different aspects of creation get their respect. You can call them deities, you can call them gods, Abara, anything, whatever term you have for them, fine. But they get a deified respect. Water, earth, wind, fire, light. My next video is going to be on the 4 market days. Eke, Orie, Afo, and Nkwo, and it ties into what I'm saying about all the divinity of existence, right? That's what it ties into. There are the 4 market days. There are the 4 cardinal directions. There are the 4 states of nature. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. So if you're not subscribed, by the way, subscribe. And I'm pretty sure all you guys subscribe. We have 31 people watching and 28 likes. Hi. Oh, now fuck off, man. So let's hit the like button if you guys haven't. I'm gonna see what you guys' comments look like. Hit the like button. Okay, 2 people are slacking. 2 people are slack. One person is playing around. One person is playing around. When we find you, hey, God. Okay, cool. Ikenga is masculine, driving force. Yes, it is depicted as a large, broad-shouldered warrior with a sword. Yes, in its right hand and a human head in its left. War god much, LOL. Absolutely, haha, yes. The Ikenga is what we call masculinity in contemporary English, right? It is your masculine force. Everybody has it. Every single person has it. But it manifests higher in men, which is why men take a particular nature, right? That type of thing. But some women have it higher than men. And back home, traditionally, when that was acknowledged, that woman could ritually become a man because in manifesting herself, she has to ritually become a man, that type of thing, right? And not like literally, okay, we acknowledge this person as a man, but like they become a man, they get male titles, they take on wives, that type of thing. So there's some women that have that thing more than others. 99.999% of women, I don't think you want to have that thing more than the average man, right? That kind of thing. You need to be a voice actor. Okay. Thanks, Chimoge. Clearly, our ancestors never saw Super Eagles goalkeeper if they catch Chimoge again. First time, always okay, cool. Jada Renee, what'd she say? I know you get this often, but you really need to see Avatar. I've seen Avatar. Oh no, I haven't seen Avatar. I was thinking Avatar, like what was that movie with the blue people? That movie. It was about how like the movie was like, what if white people found a new planet? Wouldn't that be messed up? With the blue, it was like 3D. I thought it was called Avatar, so I thought that's what you meant. But yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it often. I see Avatar. I'll see Avatar. Don't worry. I recently resolved before that. Damn. All right, we'll get to that later. So, anyways, I was saying. So, what is all the Ikenga stuff talk about? So, moving on to the moons, we are in the 3rd moon. The number 3 is the number of the Ikenga. The number 3 is also the number of life. It is the sentience. Let me call it sentience, right? The fact that I can move around and do this thing is 3. The number 3, the energy packed in the number 3 that makes me or gives me the ability to do that, because 3 is the living space, right? In the 4 market days, Eke, Uri, Afo. Afo is number 3. Afo is the earth. Right, Afo is the earth. That's her name. That's one of her names is Afo, right? that type of thing. And those that exist in that third space, the alpha space, are those that are capable of living what the life that looks like life to us, that kind of thing. This life, this thing we call life, we are exhibiting the power of the number three. That is it, the third Ikenga moon. So when we get into the calendar, because again, all of these things align with each other in order to keep balance with the order of the universe itself, right? So when we get into the third moon, we are in what is called Onwa Ifeke. What you're going to see in a lot of different communities is a fasting period, like traditional community, like back in the day. So back in the day, ancestrally, this was a fasting period. This was a period of no fighting, no arguing, no disputes. Apologize, guys. Give me a second. Yeah, this was a moon of no disputes, no fighting, no nothing like that, right? If you had any issues you need to resolve with somebody, this is one of the moons that you sit down and make it happen. Why? Because this particular moon, you are empowering and strengthening whatever you wish to continue throughout the year. That ikenga that you're going to use to carry out whatever this year has to offer on a family level, on a community level, and on an individual level. And I say it in that order because that is the order of importance, right? So all of those things, whatever you're going to manifest, you're doing it this year. So you're not going to speak carelessly. You're not going to tell, I hate you, mom, all that. You're not going to do that this year. This is not the moon to do that. I take that back, that kind of thing, right? This is not the moon to talk, just be running your mouth, that kind of thing. At the same time, our ancestors would fast during this moon. This was the moon of preparing yourself for what the big challenge coming, right? At the end of this moon, you would have the wrestling period, where I want to say it's the last 4 days of the moon. You would have the wrestling period where the young men in the community would now organize wrestling matches against each other, against different communities. This was the fighting moon, the Ikenga moon, the empower, like the fortification moon. You're fortifying yourself and everything. You're awakening that thing inside of you necessary to move. The Ikenga in itself is empowered by a multitude of things, but a few that are interesting to share are restraint, right? When something is taken away or when you don't have something, the Ikenga awakens. It awakens your Ikenga. When you reach the goal, the Ikenga goes away. It decreases when you reach that thing you want. So the Ikenga is empowered by the process of wanting or aspiring or reaching or striving, right? When you go to your Ikenga, if you're going to, let's say, go on a big journey, you're going on a journey and you have an Ikenga in your home, you would take something that is nice, but it's affordable. Like, let's say a chicken. If you're like a regular person, you get a chicken, you say, okay, I'm going to offer you this chicken. I'm going on this journey. If I make it back safe, I'm going to bring back a cow. Now, the cow being the thing you bring back in the end would be something that's above your reach, something that is beyond your reach. You understand? Right? And that is how the Ikenga is activated, by saying, we are going over here, we're going to go do this thing. But once that thing is done, the Ikenga, oh my bad, that was loud. The Ikenga turns off. It shuts off, that type of thing, right? Or it doesn't shut off, it decreases, it lands. One of the analogies I've been using for the Ikenga is like an eagle, right? You can send an eagle into the sky, but it must perch at one point. It must perch at one point. So typically an eagle will fly based off of its goal. It doesn't just hang out in the air to hang out. Say, okay, I need to get from this branch to that branch. I need to swoop down and get that bird or that fish, all that stuff. But once the goal is achieved, it'll perch. That type of thing. And that's how the Ikenga works, is wanting or restraint. So things like fasting, deliberate, right? Things like fasting, things like journeys, setting challenges for yourself, setting goals for yourself, facing something big, right? Pushing yourself to move towards your higher self. So looking at something, again, you present the chicken, something you can acquire in the beginning, and then you return with something that would take extra effort, because at that point you have grown to the point where you can bring the cow as what the chicken was when it began, right? Now I've reached a point where cow equals chicken, what chicken was to me in the past, right? Maybe I've become richer, that kind of thing. Maybe the journey was successful, or maybe the business venture worked out, that type of thing. And now I'm able to just bring you cows the way I was able to bring chickens before, which means that your Ikenga worked, because you said, okay, we're going this way. And again, if your Ikenga is alive and active, you will win. It's going to happen. It's going, whatever the hell you're talking about is going to happen, right? You're going to win. So that when that thing shows itself, you're rewarded. If it doesn't show itself, there's an ilu that says that an ikenga that's not working, use it for firewood. You understand? An ikenga that is not working, you use it for firewood, which means this specific one that I've crafted, no, that one's not activated. That one's not working. That type of thing. Chop and throw it away. So in this moon, I've been using this particular moon because it was a fasting moon for our ancestors. It was a strengthening and preparation moon for our ancestors. In my video for the 4 market days, Eke Ori Afon, if you understand, because it's Onwa Ife Eke, right? The Onwa for worshiping Eke is actually the name, the moon of Eke worship, right? If you understand Eke Day, and I'm going to break it down in the next video, so if you're not subscribed, subscribe, hurry up. So I'm going to be breaking down what Eke Day means, because it's the day to know. That's the day of all the days. That's the day you really have to know about. Onwa Ife Eke is almost like an extended Eke Day. And if you understand the nature of Eke Day, which again, I'll break down in the video, so it's coming pretty soon. If you understand the nature of Eke Day, you'll now, okay, this moon makes sense. I see what's going on, which is why I don't talk carelessly in this moon, which is why I reserve energy as much as possible, or I challenge myself to do something new, because whatever I'm doing right now is what's going to happen going forward. Whatever I do on Eke Day is what's going to happen for the rest of the 4 days, or the other 3 days, whatever, that kind of thing. So it's almost like an extended Eke Day, right? That type of thing. So every moon for about, officially for 3 moons now, but even before I had really incorporated Odinani and Igbo into my life in full, I had already, for some reason, like around this time, I didn't eat meat. And I started this in like 2009. About 2009, I just said, okay, I don't want to eat meat. I'm going to try not to eat meat, because I was like testing out if I wanted to be vegetarian or vegan or anything like that. So I said I wouldn't eat meat. And then I was like, okay, I didn't really like that. But for this moon, not in a month, April, all right? For the month of April, or was it May? One of them. For the month of April or May, or maybe it was like after my birthday's on the 4th. So like it was something like that I'm not going to eat meat. So I did that. And then like now I realized that, okay, this is actually the moon for doing something like that. So it was weird how it aligned naturally. If you'll notice too, this is also the beginning of Aries. I put it in the title as the Aries moon. So this is the Aries. We are now in the Aries space, on a celestial level. This is also the beginning, I believe, of Ramadan. Passover is also in this moon. So all of these traditions of restraint and struggle, and or deliberate struggle, restraints and that type of thing, right? The all fall into this time. So it's very fascinating in that sense. So what am I doing for this particular Aries equals Ram? Yes, Jada. Yeah, that's one of the ones that made me do this, But yeah, Aries is the Ram. That's even. I don't want to speak on what I don't know, because I'm not a fan of doing that anymore. But I would like to know what the Ram and Ramadan is about, And I know there's a pre-Islamic tradition, Middle Eastern, Mediterranean tradition. So I'd be interested to know what the Ram and Ramadan means. I mean, this is a guess. I don't know if it's connected or not. If somebody knows, let me know, that type of thing. But yeah, it all ties together. It all connects. It's all related. Lent, fasting, perfect. Yep, Lent, exactly. That's another one too. So this particular moon, the last moon, I said I was going to take a 4-mile walk every single day. And I was able to do it every day except 3 on that moon last year. I was going to like film it and post it up, but like I'm a little too old school for for like constant update type of stuff, that type of thing. So this moon, I told myself, I was like, I really want to learn how to box. I really want to learn how to box. Now, here's the challenge, right? Here's the issue that I'm having. I'm in the process of moving states, right? So I'm going to be moving from Texas to another state, which I won't disclose, because I'm getting too many messages of people trying to meet up. And I'm not, I'm not trying to do all that right now, but I appreciate the sentiment. But yeah, we're not gonna do that. And so I'm moving to another state for about a year. And so the move is happening right now. So it would be hard for me to like start learning how to box if I'm in the middle of like, right, I'm not even home right now. This is not my home. I'm not home right now. I'm setting things up for the move. And so it'll be hard to sign up for like a gym and do that and that kind of thing. But I do want to learn how to box. I want to have my first boxing match this year and so forth. So I decided that my challenge is going to be twofold, right? The first one is in the process of moving, I'm going to be preparing myself to go learn how to box so that by the end of the moon, I'm going to sign up for a gym and learn from an actual professional and so forth, how to do it. I've always been fascinated by boxing. It's always something that I always felt like I think I could do that kind of thing. So like, until I get knocked the fuck out. But I won't because my Ikenga is alive. You understand? So I want to learn how to box. So that's the physical aspect of it. Now, the non-physical aspect of what I'm challenging myself to do this moon is that if you're a patron, you probably already know this, but I wrote a book, a nonfiction book, and it is a story of Alibo, the of a fictional city or community in Alibo, and this big thing going on. Maybe I can talk a little bit more about it in this moon, that kind of thing. So I actually finished the moon or the book. The book came in like this burst of inspiration, and that burst of inspiration is actually what started this channel as well. But the book came before the channel. I remember I was working at this place that I completely hated, and um, just something overcame me. I had this dream. I think I talked about this in the last live. I had this dream where I looked at my two hands and like I felt like I noticed that they were different, like as far as the pattern. Like this one's long, or this one is long, and then this one is short. For some reason, there was something, there was meaning to that, right? And at the same time was around when I was starting looking at our traditions very intentionally. Before I just kind of lived it passively and then like have a natural interest in history and things like that. So like I would, oh, what is that about? And I'd look into it. Oh wow, that's really interesting. But I didn't take it in, right? I was like, okay, that thing over there is interesting going on with my life, that kind of thing. And so around that time I had this burst of inspiration. And I wanted to write this book, and I just started, and I kept going, and these characters were coming to my head in this big scenario in this world, and it was massive, and I was like, dude, I don't know if I can do that. But first I was able to finish the book in, I have to talk to my wife, I think it was like a month and a half, which is insane because technically I have ADHD, right? Technically. So it's very hard for me to sit down and focus on something. But I feel like from that day, like whatever that thing is, that ADHD, it's gone, right? It's gone, or at least I've overcome it. So just boom, just this thing, I was just writing. Got fired from that job. I just stopped doing it. You understand? Like I couldn't not write this book. And I finished the book, draft one of the book. And then whatever that burst was vanished once the book was done. Like it came, it did its job, and it's left. And I have to edit it. And that process has been very slow, especially since I started the channel. And it takes up a lot of time. Family takes up a lot of time, that type of thing. So I've been very slow with that book, and I haven't been giving it the respect it deserves as far as taking time and editing every single chapter. I think I'm at 22 chapters. It's 22 chapters, 22 or 23 chapters. And then I think there's two more I have to add in somewhere in the middle to kind of explain things. But yeah, it's 22 chapters, and I said I'm gonna edit portion by portion by portion by portion. And like since last year, I've only touched two portions. I actually, if you're interested in knowing more about the book, I actually read the first scene of the book for my patrons. It's on Patreon. I will put the link, patreon.com/the medicine shell. In fact, let me pin that to the top. Y'all are asking questions. I'll get to it in a minute. So cool. Cassie will be okay. I see you guys are out of class. Fresh from Masasibo. Hey, Cassie. You say man. Congratulations. Yeah, Cassie is in Igbo 1 for Kedu. Cassie, how's your experience been so far? Just let me know, that type of thing. Just let us know how it goes. I'm an editor, Jetta. Oh, wow, cool. Okay. We may need to talk. We may need to talk because I don't know anything about writing. When I started the book, I said that I wanted to respect the world. I like growing up, I was like a good writer, and I think everybody's a good writer. That's why I put the quote thing, that type of thing. But I was considered a good writer, or I am considered a good writer, and so I had fell out of the habit of doing it, and so but once I had the inspiration to write this particular book. I went and got a book. I think it's called like the 500 greatest writers of all time or something like that. And I said I'm going to read this before I even start, just so I'm respecting the space I'm walking into, that kind of thing. That and then I started watching a lot of like people who do reviews of books and stuff like that to kind of understand that world because it's not I don't read novels that much. I read information, whatever it's classified as. Like I can't even tell you the genre of the book and things like that. All that shit. So it's been good. I love it. Okay. Hey, Cassie, say thank you so much. I'm also an editor. Damn, all these editors about to start fighting in the just like, yeah, Sarah. Anyway, Sarah, my fault. Sarah finished her book and put it out and everything like that. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah. Whoever wants to talk about it, that's good. So the challenge I'm doing to myself is I'm going to be submitting this book to an editor, an official editor. I'm doing my edit, right? And I'm going to submit it to an editor on Onwa Agu, which is the sixth, I believe the sixth moon, right? So between now and then, I must finish this project. And I'm going to finish this project by doing this every single day, but I'll rest on AK days. So I'll do it every single day. I'll edit, and then I'll rest on AK day. Every single day I'll edit, and I'll rest on AK day. That type of thing, right? Until we reach Onwa, which is about as long as it's going to take. It's actually I'm speeding up because it's long, and so I'm going to be submitting. So I'll also go live on the 6th. I believe it's the 7th or 6th moon. I'll figure it out. But I'm going to go live on the 7th or on the Agun moon. I'm going to go live on that one to let you guys know that, hey, I finished it, that type of thing, right? That type of thing. And if I don't finish it, then you know that I'm full of shit. So yeah, Toni Morrison. I need to read comments, y'all. But yeah, that's what I'm editor haven here. I spent 2 years as an editor in college. Damn, I don't. Okay, it's a connection between Igbo spirituality and editing books. Everybody has a plan so you get punched in the face. Absolutely true. Okay. Mike is here fresh from Asasuibo. Okay, Igbo 1. Okay, yeah. Ahamefuna Kedukide. You can't play boxing, so make sure you're ready, bro. Yeah, no, I think I'm ready. So I'm gonna use this moon to get ready, and then by the time the moon ends, I should be ready to sign up for a gym and things like that. So I'm gonna sign up for a gym. I'll try it out for a year. If I like it, I'll keep going. If I don't, then whatever. Hopefully they don't knock whatever is helping me do this channel out of my head. So I have some insight on the Ramadan, Igbo connections. Wonderful, cool. Yeah, if you can message me, I don't know if you're following me on Instagram or if you're on Patreon, just send whatever you can, and I'd be interested in knowing the Ramadan, what you have as far as that goes. Ramadan isn't always in line with the Aries moon. It's just this year. Yeah, and Ramadan's not always in line with the Aries moon, but I believe Ramadan is always the third moon of the year, moon number 3. And Aries, I don't know. But when I step out of the Igbo space, like I'll let you guys know I'm not an expert, or I don't know. So I believe Ramadan is always the third moon. And I don't know what the rule is on Aries. I believe Aries is when the planet itself is in the Aries space or the sun, one of the two. So those of you who know, and you guys are definitely in here, let me know. Isn't Aries also a ram? Yes, Aries is a ram. Lent overlaps with this moon. Absolutely. It's all connected. It's all connected. Ikenga sounds like the masculine principle of execution. Chika, you nailed it. Where? Yeah, we're all G. Is the chi linked to us and some ultimate consciousness? Does the chi manage the Ikenga? The Ikenga is called the gift of the chi. The Ikenga is called the gift of the chi. So the Ikenga is what the chi gives you. Remember that utility belt I was talking about? The Ikenga is what your chi gives you to do what your chi sent you to do, right? Or to be who your chi sent you to be. Whatever you were created to do, you're equipped with every single thing, your highest self, right? The Ikenga is also called the higher self. It's also, when you see those Ikenga figurines, it's a manifestation of your higher self, right? So, or a representation of your higher self. So, your higher self is capable of doing exactly or being or manifesting or occupying exactly what you were brought into the world to insert verb, you know. And so the Ikenga is the gift of the Chi. They are linked, they are connected. Um, it is uh it is all part of the same stream. Ikengam Kuoto. Hey! Chidema. What's up? What's up? Yeah. Mm. I think Chidema knows what I just did, especially since she had a little accent mark. So I know she knows what I just did. I'm a Libra. I have symmetry and even numbers, but I've always felt attracted to number three, the number because they complete me. Ah, wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for that, Sony. Thank goodness I got you online. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. While I end up having to take a break from studying on Natty and I come back when you're about to discuss the market days. My market day is what brought me to Odinani in the first place. Ashley, awesome, awesome. Yes, the next one's coming. This next video has been taking a long time because I'm not at home. If you see that shoebox there, that's my portable recording studio. And so based on everything I'm doing here, it's been time wise, it's been more difficult than not, and so forth. But I can definitely get it done here and get it out there for you guys before I head back home to start bringing my stuff over. This is the first. Okay, cool. So I think I've read everything. Good luck with your writing endeavor. The struggle, your writing endeavor, the struggle is real. Absolutely, and I know you know the experience. So I'm going to be finishing my second edit around that time. You understand? Tony came up in a dream of mine 2 years ago. She was an editor before she wrote books. I'm starting to see a pattern. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of editors like Igbos like to create, so this makes sense. Absolutely, very creative, very creative. Um, I just finished a story about the wrestler. Did he win the battle in the land of the spirits, and did he return back on Earth? Okay, I'll finish the story of Ojadili. So, Ojadili. Now, there's a longer epic, right? So these stories are known as Onwa, which is like moonlight music or tales by moonlight, right? So these are stories that were told to young children as they're growing up and that type of thing. So what I've been made aware of is that the story of Ojadili has a long form and has a short form that everybody's familiar with. I'm looking for the long form because in the long form, he has a sidekick. His sidekick is a musician and sometimes a drunkard, but just a generally lazy man, right? And he goes into the world of spirits with his sidekick, which I really want to hear that version of the story because that sounds really interesting. But the one I know is that Ojadili enters the land of the spirits, right? And so the first spirit comes. Ojadili wrestles with spirit. Ojadili gets the upper hand as always. Knocks the spirit to the ground. The second spirit comes. Jadili does the same thing, knocks it to the ground. Third spirit, bam, fourth, fifth, sixth. And what ends up happening is what Jadili realizes that it's never going to end. It kept coming and coming and coming and coming. So after a while, Ojadili realized that he was going to be trapped in here, right? The thing he came to pursue in here has no end, right? And so what Ojadili decided to do was to turn back and return to Alam Mado. But remember, nobody has ever entered Alam Mo and come back, right? So Ojadili, opens. There's a portal that's open that brought him in. It's closing. He goes. He jumps through the portal. But what happens is the spirit grabs him, right? And Ojadili is the strongest guy in two worlds. So he's pulling. The spirit is pulling. He's pulling. The spirit's pulling, and the spirit with its claw ends up leaving a line down his back, a line down his back. And that is the reason why human beings have a separation down their back, especially if you have some musculature to your back, or if you're a Negro, but that's a whole different thing. But has a line down his back, right? And so, but he was able to make it back to Alamado safe. Now, what's really interesting about the Ojadili story is that Victor Uwaifo, he's a Benin man, a man from Benin. And for those who don't know, Benin is a neighboring culture to Igbo culture. They also have a similar story, and he made a song about it, about a wrestler named Joromi, right? And in the Benin version of the story that he told, he never comes back, right? Joromi goes into the world of the spirits and never returns, right? In the Igbo version, he returns scarred, and in some versions, he never returns because the challenges keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming, and that type of thing. And in the doesn't return versions of the story, the lesson is there's always going to be another challenge. If you are trying to see the end of challenges, you will never complete that mission. There's always going to be another challenge. In the version where he comes back, it tells you why we have a split down our back. I'm a video editor. I just started recording audiobooks. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, whoever's an editor, reach out. I need to learn about the world of writing. I want to send the book to a publisher. My natural instinct would be to self-publish, but I got too much other stuff going on, and I want to focus on those things while the professionals handle the work. So yeah. Did you fast today? Asked by Cassio B. It's a good question. No, I didn't fast today. I didn't eat today either. So I didn't deliberately fast, but just I was just doing a bunch of stuff, and I had some donuts, and that's about it. But no, I'm not fasting this moon. So the last moon I fasted and I did a walking thing at the same time. I don't think the fasting is necessary for me this moon. Rather, I'm going to continue a journey that I've been on for the past few months, which is figuring out which foods work for me, right? I've come to learn that I don't like what I used to do is like I'd eat like a big meal and then that type of thing. And I just like I just I'm not a food person, so I don't think about eating too much. So I just binge on a bunch of rice and go about my day and that kind of thing. And I was realizing that a lot of what I was feeling throughout the day was actually hunger, like mild hunger. So just kind of feeling tired and not being able to focus and things like that. So I've learned to eat more frequently, to eat at very specific times. When I'm eating, sit down and focus on that thing, make that the thing I'm doing, and so forth. So I want to get better at eating, and I want to get better at sleeping. And by better at sleeping, I mean I want to have a dream every single time I sleep, because it is a sign of good health in your mind, mental health, or being in a good mental state. So I want to have a dream every single time I sleep, or I want to be able to remember a dream every single time I sleep. And the dream sleep, like that deep sleep, is the restorative, the healing sleep, right? Is the healing sleep. So since I've been focused on that particular thing, learning how to sleep better, my days have been phenomenal. I've been very alert, just feeling good, aware with it, all that stuff, because I'm actually sleeping well. I snore, so so I've realized that the snoring was kind of keeping me up, which sounds weird, but yeah. So I'm trying to learn how to deal with that and all that stuff. So I don't want to fast this moon because I'm using this. I'm actually trying to figure out what my actual relationship with food is, right? How my chi eats, right? That type of thing. Joromi, like the song, yes. Enyi bonove, Joromi, oh miedo. I don't know what I'm saying. It's not my language, but yeah, that one. Joromi is the song. It's the same. It's a similar story to Ojadili. How does fasting in Igbo culture work? Is it similar to Ramadan, where fast from sun up to sundown? Yeah, and I said this in my video when I was explaining this moon. I don't really know the specifics of how people fasted, right? I just knew that you didn't eat as much, or you eat. Okay, I know that like it's like a one meal a day type of thing, or you eat significantly less, right? Well, I don't know if it was individualized, broken down by community. I'm more than willing to believe not every community acknowledge that particular tradition. But all of them as a whole took this moon, regarded this moon the same way mentally, had the same mind about this moon, the same understanding about this moon. How they actualize that understanding, as most things, will differ per person, per family, per community, that type of thing. But I do know my resources tell me that, eating once a day. But it's not like a law. It's not like don't do it like a law. Do what makes sense for you. Just fasting at work, that kind of thing. I know that a lot of times when you're fasting Igbo culture, the use of this is bitter cola. So use of algae, all the things classified as algae, because they suppress appetite. They keep you from eating, right? One of the interesting things, if you look at the dynamic between chi and eke, a lot of the things associated with the chi are also associated with not eating. Eating is a thing of the eke, the ana, that space, that particular space, right? So the things associated with the chi, there's usually periods of not eating. For example, if I'm becoming an ozo is somebody who is becoming a living ancestor, and in a more specific way, a person who is manifesting their full chi, who's trying to manifest their full chi, or to become their walking chi, like to walk around as their chi, that type of thing. That is an also. Same thing with an inze. Some person who's becoming an inze is becoming a living ancestor, but in a more specific way, they are manifesting their full self, right? That full self, right? That full spectrum, like that full you, right? It's also known as awele, right? So if a person is taking ijawele, the journey towards awele, manifesting their full truth, their full self, that type of thing, right? So how did I get there? A lot of those traditions, Nze, Ozo, all those different titles will have a lot of rules about eating, right? And the initiation phase will have a lot of rules about not eating, right? You're not going to eat while you're being initiated for this along, that type of thing. In other cultures, it manifests as you look at the Buddha, right? In order for his awele to manifest, in order for him to become the living embodiment of his chi, or to actualize his chi, he went through a period of not eating, of starvation, that kind of thing. So there's a relationship with it. Even if you look at four the four world ages, right? So our ancestors believe that all of human history and pre-human history is broken down into four ages. Ogaka, right? This was the age where we as people were light beings, or light beings, and we were able to live in Obi Chukwu, the source space, or where Chukwu lives, and the world we're in today, right? Wow, the universe, Alam Madu. We were able to go back and forth easily, just like whatever, and we actually lived in Obi Chukwu, so this place was like a vacation place, right? In that time, Ogaka, we as human beings didn't need to eat food. We didn't eat, right? In some traditions, it's said that we ate azuigwe, right? So fish from the sky, right? So you just call upon Chuku and then you were replenished by azuigwe, fish from the sky. In other traditions, we ate just wind. We just breathed. In other traditions, we just didn't have the need to eat, that kind of thing. And so Ugachi begins when as those light beings come to earth, just hanging out, that kind of thing. And then the access, just like the Ojadili story, the portal or whatever it is that allowed you to go back to Obichukwu closed. And so now we go from being our first ancestors, which are Ndimbu, right? The first people, to transitioning to Ndiegede, which is the ancestors, that the mortal ancestors, our first mortal ancestors, right? In fact, if you use the term like Ndiegede, right? If somebody lived a great life, if they manifested that awele, their full self, the awele, right? If they manifested their full self in Alamo, they are equal to Ndiegede. They are equal to Ndiegede. And that's why a lot of traditions such as Nze and also, where you become a living ancestor, that's who you're becoming. You're going to live as Ndiegede. Ndiegede did not lie when they spoke, right? Ndiegede, of course, spoke the language of the first people, which is Asusu Igbo, the Igbo language. Ndiegede, like, for example, if I'm an Nze and I'm really going hard on my Nze thing, I have to dress in my traditional attire at all times, and not like the traditional now, like not this Belgium traditional that everybody's wearing, but like the ancient one, where if somebody looks at you, you'll understand why masquerades look the way they look, right? The way the first people were dressing. So I have to dress that way. As an Inze, like somebody who's hardcore in the Inze thing, like they only eat food cooked by their wife, just a whole bunch of different things. So those are Ndiegede. Those people, the Inze and the Ozo, are turning themselves into Ndiegede, right? Those are the two ancestors. But the reason I brought all that up is the food thing. So once we become Ndiegede, we began to eat. We began, instead of eating from the sky, we began eating from the earth, right? So in a lot of the traditions, I'm seeing this pattern where things connected with Obichukwu are divorced from the concept of eating, right? And in order to do that, there's usually fasting is a tool for doing that. Now, one of the things that differs between African and Eurasian traditions is that in the Eurasian tradition, there's always like a point, right? Like there's always like okay, Buddhism, you reach enlightenment and then everything is fixed. Hinduism, you reach nirvana and everything's fixed. Christianity, you go to heaven. Islam, you go to heaven, that kind of thing. So in the Eurasian traditions, there's always like a point. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to do. In African traditions, right, there are options. So if you want to reach enlightenment, the next question is why? You understand? Because it's not everybody's chi that's going to make them enlightened. Not everybody's chi is to be enlightened. Maybe your chi is not supposed to be enlightened. Maybe you're supposed to come in this world as the most ignorant MF, you know, that type of thing, right? So it's not that everybody must follow this path. You follow your path. You follow what your specific chi brought to you. You understand? It's an individual thing, and it comes from the inside out, right? There's no, we're all striving to do this thing. There's something I'm striving to do that you're not striving to do. There's something you're striving to do that I'm not striving to do, right? But Ibiri Kambe, live and let live. I'm moving my way, you're moving your way. Or you're not moving your way and I am, or I'm not moving that kind of thing. But so be it. You understand? Because the one that's for you is not about other people. It's about you. It's internal. It's internal. So that is one of the things I notice that's different from the African traditions and the Eurasian traditions, is that the Eurasian traditions usually say we all need to do this thing. It's better, right? Whereas the African tradition says you can do that thing. It's available, right? So somebody manifesting that awele, that full, abundant, universal self that has everything that your chi brought into the world for you. You have received it or it's coming to you, that kind of thing. Not everybody's chi is going to ask him to do that thing. I was having a good conversation. I don't know if he's in here. Chimeze. I was having a conversation with my Igbo 2 teacher. He is an ordinary figure. I don't even want to say an adherence or anything like that. He said that term. I started laughing. I said, I actually like that term more than follower or whatever. Because again, if it's individualized, I'm not following anybody but me. You understand? If it's about my chi, uwabu madu na chia, onye na chia, that kind of thing. And the world is you and your chi. That's the world. It's not about, okay, this guy knows about my chi. Let me go talk to him and figure that thing out. And da. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a secret. That's kind of why I got rid of the in-house Bibia thing, right? Because I started noticing, like, one of the reasons. I started noticing kind of like, okay, this guy knows my who I am. It's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about here. Don't do that. So I said, let's not do that. You figure it out. I'll talk to you if you need to figure things out, but most of what I'll tell you is to go look back at yourself, that kind of thing. You can go figure out what's true to you and go do that thing, so whatever. So Wabu Maduna Chia. So anyways, me and Chimeze were talking, and we were talking about Chimeze again. He's the teacher for Igbo 1 and Igbo 2. I said Igbo 2, my bad. And we were talking about Ndimiri, people that are from water. And one of the things that I told him that I had noticed, and he had noticed this too, that a lot of Ndimiri, people from water, their chi specifically tells them to go be an evangelical pastor, right? Their chi specifically tells them you're supposed to be an evangelical pastor. And a lot of evangelical pastors are from Wame, you understand? And there's a way their logic, water people, there's a way their logic is where once you figure out how to identify Ndimiri, you're like, oh yeah, duh, of course. Of course. There they go. You know what I mean? Because a lot of many people, they like that idea of everybody watching them, the spotlight, that kind of thing. They are natural stars. They are natural stars, that kind of thing. And so there's a whole lot of things to it too. So sometimes your chi will tell you need to go start a church. All right. You need to go start a church. One of the reasons I always say that, like, I want people to get rid of this idea that being African is the opposite of being European, right? Is the opposite, right? How can you create somebody and then they're the opposite of you, right? Like now I have my son Namdi, and then he's my mate, and he's the opposite of me. It's just me and him, 1-to-1. Yeah, maybe I need to sleep, man. So get rid of the idea of like, oh, yeah, that this is like some kind of refuge from being European. Because some of your chi will tell you, somebody's chi will tell them go do like the white people. You understand? And that's that person's chi, and we as people accept that. It's fine. You understand? That's what their chi told them to do. That's who they are. You know, my chi wants me to be a hermit. There you go. It's that simple. It's that simple. You know, my chi wants to be like, if you look at, I'm not knocking down people's traditions and stuff like that, you know, and I've probably said white people way too many times for me to monetize this video. um, if you like something like Buddhism, you know, like, oh, you know, just, or like Taoism, you know, isolate and, you know, that type, that all of it. You know, that's some people's chi will tell them to do that thing. And for the people whose chi that is, when they hear that thing, they will light up. They'll say, yes, I knew that. Yes, that's it. That's that thing that I already had inside me. And then they'll pursue it if they want to follow their chi, or maybe they won't, you know, that kind of thing. But it's not everybody's that'll say go do that thing, you know. Ojad Dilly's theory is about the human hubris, how human hubris can trap them. Yes, yes, yes. I think so too. I think so too. B2. If somebody said something funny, I think I missed it. Chet Hanks is the opposite. Opposite means your peer. Like this is opposite, right? So Tom Hanks and Chet Hanks are not peers, man. Like this is Tom Hanks, this is Chet Hanks. It's just what it is. If Chet Hanks wants to get an Nze title, he has to give Tom Hanks that title first. He has to go to the Nze Society and pay for Tom Hanks to have that title so that he can have that title as his son, right? And okay, now it's my turn to have it. That type of thing. That type of thing. So no, they're not opposites. They can't be. You can't be opposite with your son. You understand? You're a not. Your son's father. You know. Even if the son is acting, you know, like Chet, and you're acting like Tom, how do we know that Tom isn't actually Chet pretending to be Tom? Well, Baptist. That's pretty accurate. Baptist and Onwa are like this. Evangelical Baptist, any them church, like I think Chimoge said the churches with the long names, they're like this. They're like this. There was a Dibia on it's a radio station in Enugu, and a good friend of mine, Chan, used to work there, or I think he still works there. I don't know. But there was a Dibia there, and he was breaking down the different types of Obanje. And there was one Obanje is a spirit that brings itself into the world, right? It brings itself into the world for a specific reason, usually because it wants to enjoy something on earth that isn't on the other side, right? So people who come into the world as Obanje usually have a very specific nature. And then there's still people from water. So they still have that general water nature of the nature of water people, that kind of thing. There's one type of Obanje he identified, which I think he called Obanje prostitute. This is an Obanje that comes into the world to be a prostitute, right? That there's that if you his specific words where he was speaking Igbo too, and it's like 20 times funnier in Igbo. I think his specific words is that if you chain her down and leave her and come, if you chain her in the room and go outside, she'll be on the corner selling. Right? So these are the ones that just have to do this thing. And they will not listen to anybody in the world except evangelical pastors. That's what he specifically said. He's a DBA, he's in the practice, that kind of thing. He said the only people these prostitutes listen to, these Obanje prostitution, the way I already put it, were evangelical pastors. I think I shared the same thing in the video. I can't remember the name of the station, but I have a video called Obanje Explained if you're interested in Obanje. And in that one, I talked about the different ones that he had identified, and I said the station name. It's just not coming to me right now. I'm not a memory person. So hence I got all these papers everywhere, that kind of thing. So this particular Obanje only listens to evangelical pastors. Now, I thought that was really interesting because if you look at an American pimp, right? If you look at an American pimp and the way an American pimp dresses, a lot of evangelical pastors have that same type of aura and way of dressing and doing their hair and way of being. You understand? And but the American style pimp isn't in Nigeria. That's not what pimps do or look like or manifest as in Nigeria. You understand, right? So, but the pastors do look like that and behave like that and think that way. And me as waffle from Earth, right? When I hear the logic of this relationship, right, it makes no sense to me, but they make sense to each other, right? They make sense to each other. You understand? And that goes back into that thing, okay, live and let live, that kind of thing. So yeah, some people's chi will tell them to go start a church, especially the water people. I'm not saying that all of them do this. I'm not saying this is just what it is, but a lot of them, like when you see that whole dynamic, that's what you're seeing. You understand? So show a lot of you guys' things are getting hidden. They only like, Nigerian pastors love saying the blood of Jesus. Yeah, they love the blood of Jesus. Well-tailored suits, just kind of yeah. Well-tailored suits, just manicured nails. Iceberg Slims, pimp man. Yeah. No, is it iceberg? Donald Goines he'll never get the credit he deserves, but that's one of the greatest prose writers ever. But Donald Goines has written about this. Iceberg Slim. I was listening to Sugar Free. He's like I think lesser, and if you're from California, you probably know him, but like a lesser known to non-California people. I've never been in California, and like it's funny, but like he's a pimp, and like there's a logic there that's not understandable by non-water people. And I was watching an interview who's saying that we're pimps, y'all are humans, right? And I understand what he's saying. He's a blatant obanje, but hold on. People are saying a lot of stuff that I'm missing. I'm here sweating. I'm a video editor. I just started. Yeah, Sony, if you want to edit my videos, yeah, that'd be cool. My daughter has been boxing for 4 years. Oh, wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. My daughter's been boxing for 4 years. I've been boxing for about 2. So if you want to build on this, I got you as well. I'm gonna reach out to you. If you're who I think you are, I think Zahame Funa, Mr. Bolds. So yeah, we'll reach out, we'll talk. Right now I'm gonna just try to condition until the end of the moon, then I'll officially get started. But yeah, I want to try it out. Please finish the story about the wrestler. Okay, I already passed that. Did you fast it? I already passed that. Jeremy, like the song past that. How does it work? I always feel like there's more comments. Ikenga and cheer associated with not eating since men need more food than women, but also have it Ikenga. Yeah, that's what it is. Makes sense. I've actually heard anything with food, like there's Allah and Igwe, Chineke. So in the space of 3, in the world of Alpha, there's Ana, the earth, right? She is the Eke element. And then there's Igwe, which is the Chi element, right? So that Chineke manifests in our living world as sky and earth, right? So food comes from the sky, from the earth. Food comes from the earth. It doesn't come from the sky, right? If you go into the sky, you're not gonna have food. The less you eat, the more you'll float. That kind of thing. So say this is wild. I don't know what part was wild, but yeah, they're not monetizing this one there. How am I mind opposite? They're not as different. Opposite means this, opposite. So European culture is not the opposite of African culture. We created that shit, so it's really this. You know what I mean? Well, it's really a lot of this. So yeah, if you you're understanding my sign language, but still, we created that shit. So Nze Chet Hanks. They will listen to Evangel because the pastors start pay. Nah, man, it's way deeper than that. He don't even pay for nothing. It's way deeper than that. It's way deeper than that. Yeah, a lot of pimp, like that's always like a natural transition for them too. Like, I'm gonna become a pastor. And then like before, right, not understanding the dynamics of the world they come from, I think, oh, that's hypocritical. It's not. It's not. That's their world. That's just what they do. You understand? I was called a water spirit by my stepmom. Yeah, usually in I take it. I was called a water spirit. Shab- I'm gonna say your name wrong. Shambri. Let me know if I said it right. Um, I don't know what culture you're coming from, but if you have Nigerian parents, yeah, referring to somebody as a water spirit is 100% an insult. Because Nigeria is or Africa is a more of a conformist culture than the United States. So if I list all of the traits of water spirits, those are things that Africans typically see as negative. If I list those traits, Americans think it's awesome. They think it's a good thing. So it's interesting how those things pan out in the different cultures and stuff like that. Like children who are water spirits are typically more rebellious, right? So Americans, oh, he's an individual, Nigerians, this child is, what's this? This child needs piano, piano, that kind of thing to set them straight, water people don't tend to favor traditional relationships, right? They always have like an unorthodox relationship construct, right? They're usually unorthodox. So a lot of Obanje, and not every water person is an Obanje, but a lot of Obanje will either have no kids or a whole bunch of kids and no wife, or they want to get married but they don't want to have kids, but it'll never be wife kids, or not never, but often it's not wife kids, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like this whatever. Some of them just want to have like a lot of partners, but no, that kind of thing. It's just always like it's not the orthodox thing. So to a Nigerian, that's insane, But to like an American, that's his business, that kind of thing. So it's interesting how it pans out. Edo and Black American. Oh wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, yeah. So I'm guessing your mom is the Edo. Yeah, yeah. If you get called a water spirit by an, it's not a good thing at all. It's an insult. This is excellent. I hope it is because I'm just running my mouth. Yeah, I didn't want this. Like I told you, I'm not. This is not for me teaching or anything. I'm just hanging out. This is why I'm just hanging out. So, um, let you guys know what I'm doing this moon. I'm finishing my book, and as time comes, I'll let you guys know more about it. I don't tend to talk about projects until they're done. Um, yeah, just because that's also an Ikenga thing. It's also an Ikenga thing. But not talk about things because Ikenga is like an energy, right? And so let's say you have 14, like the number is 14, and you charge up this 14 and you use it to go here. And then every time you get that reward, remember the reward, it shuts off. So if I go, a lot of times you have a plan and you start talking about that plan, you're actually rewarding yourself as if you've already done something. And that thing turns off and decreases, or it says, oh, okay, we've already done, okay, I'll give it 2. The reason I give it a number 2 is that also, like, if you're not focused like this on it, like if you're doing this here, maybe you're going to give this one 2, you're giving this one 2, you're giving this one 2. Suddenly, when you reach that thing where you need 14 to do, you can't do it, right? So, a lot of channeling the Ikenga, and I want to, talk about it. But yeah, a lot of things about channeling the Ikenga is about focus and then like kind of keeping your mouth shut until it's done, that kind of thing. So it's kind of asinine for me to even be here talking about it, but I'm doing it as a pledge, as a vow, that kind of thing. So that this morning I spoke to my ancestors. I told them this is exactly what I'm going to do. I have an ancestor that I was very fortunate to learn about. Luke. His name is Luke. He is an ancestor from my grandmother's side. And I want tomorrow morning, I'm going to speak to him specifically. I'm going to mention him because I typically just mention my paternal lineage. But I'm going to mention Naluk because I get the sense my family, we're all creatives, and I get the sense that it comes from my grandmother. And the reason I knew it came from my grandmother was that one, just knowing her, just knowing how she is. And then two, I remember one time we were in the village and she you know how you tie each half on like the some people call it gele, like each half like a head thing. She had tied one with an American flag, and that looked so, I was like, damn, it looks so cool. She had tied it with an American flag. And I noticed she kind of always kind of dresses that way. Like, she always does really different things. So I was really surprised to find out that her brother was an author, and her brother was an author, and a lot of the people on her side of the family are very creative. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense why she like likes to spice it up. Like, not then she's not like a dressy person, but she'll always do something kind of creative. It's just a little thing I noticed about her. If you ask her questions about her, she always like redirects the question to you and doesn't answer. So it's like she's hard to like learn about. Because I remember I asked her like, how did you meet my grandfather, and she laughed and said the same way you met your wife. So that's just kind of how she is. But I get the sense that my creative end comes from her, so I want to give acknowledgement to her. She's alive, so I'm not gonna say her, but her father and her mother and things like that. And so Luke is the one I know. I don't know her mom's name, but I can learn that. um, I'll be speaking to them because of the endeavor I'm taking on. And that's one thing to acknowledge too. Sometimes when you know your ancestors' stories or the specific stories of your ancestors and who they were, you know exactly who to talk to when you're about to go do something. You know exactly who needs to step forward in the crowd in order for things to be done and so forth. So I'm going to be reaching out to Luke. I have before a few times, but I'll do it more and see how that goes. So divination, Cassie, you went to juvie. I missed something. How do you even know if you're Obanje? When I was learning about Obanje, I was studying Obanje for my Obanje video, and somebody said that I can't remember where I read it or saw it, but it said most Obanje will tell you they're Obanje. Like, yeah, no, I'm Obanje, that kind of thing. Which is hilarious because if you know how much of an insult Obanje is in Nigeria, the fact that somebody can just tell you they're Obanje means 100% that they're that thing. But a lot of Obanje is from water, but most water people are not Obanje. The way you figure out if you're Obanje or if you have an Obanje spirit that follows you is through divination. I think somebody had said it through Alpha. I don't do DBA recommendations anymore, so you can try to find somebody. As you're finding somebody, don't like go there to follow somebody. You're going to a doctor. The doctor is going to give you something. Maybe you can go to another doctor if you want to make sure 100% sure, that type of thing. A DBA is a doctor, not a pastor. I think people are getting the idea it was like a pastor and they're looking for someone to like, just plug their brain tube into, because you got to do that to somebody. So yeah, but yeah, divination, Cassie. Sorry about the long answer. From a credible priest, cool. Americans, yeah, America is. Oh man, America is like a. I was talking to my wife. I said that America is the only country where the Macho Man Randy Savage can exist. Right? I love this country, by the way. America is the only country where that specific character can exist and be rewarded for being that person. That's the only place. If that guy popped up anywhere else, they'd put him in prison. But here, it's like, oh, let's get him on TV. It's gonna be great, kind of thing. So yeah, America loves Obanje. America is like that's why America is so dominant in entertainment. That's one of the reasons America is so dominant in entertainment, right? It's very interesting. I was talking to my good friend Onyemobi. Onyemobi owns the Igbo Cyber Shrine. So some of you guys have been there already, but if you haven't, check out the Igbo Cyber Shrine. Just type in Igbo Cyber Shrine on Google.com, and it's like a platform or a blog where people just share different things as far as Odinani goes and so forth. And we're talking about the U.S. education system. I think that more than most countries, the U.S. educational system follows what our ancestors were doing more than other educational systems do, because the U.S. educational system is not about making you be a certain way. It's about exposing you to a bunch of little things, and then whichever one you resonate with, they push you in there super hard, right? So you're gonna have the physical and all these little things. They're gonna see who runs fast, and all of a sudden the coaches are gonna swarm down on that person, or they just realize you're black and they start harassing you, which you're like that happens. Any black male that has ever been to a school where they're like a significant minority knows what I'm talking about. They once they see you're good at something, they push you in that direction, they encourage you and that kind of thing. And so for that reason, as far as like America's economy, America's culture is very diversified and stuff like that, it works out, which is actually what our ancestors were doing. That's actually all this stuff about, everybody wears a uniform, you gotta shave your head. Everybody has to memorize this and memorize that. That's the opposite of what our people were talking about. Right. One of my favorite documents I have in my Patreon library is one where they're asking a woman how she became a midwife. And she said that when I was a child, anytime they were doing midwifery, I would go there. And so they knew that I was a midwife. And that was it. That was it. They saw that I was resonate with that person. They pushed them. They said, okay, this is who you are, that kind of thing. If you try that shit now, so yeah, everybody hates Chris. We're back on that. R.I.P. Macho. Yeah, man, R.I.P. man, Macho, man. Yeah, definitely Obanji. I'm a Patreon member as of today. He said, "Hey, Chick, I think I saw you join. So, Chick, I have to manually connect all your benefits. So, in getting ready for this and doing the school, I haven't had time. But if I don't crash after this live, I will get your benefits hooked up and everything, and you'll be able to access everything. Is there a recommended book list? Yes, there's a folder called recommended. So the recommended so if you're a patron, you don't know where to start, go to the folder called recommended or recommended reading. And I list them in order, like in order that I recommend for the reading. But they're what is in there is like actual books. They're like full blown books, and like a lot of them you're not going to be able to find anywhere, right? A lot of them you're not going to, or a few of them you're not going to be able to find anywhere. Some of them you can find if you look for them and stuff like that. But I give a specific order that you should do, and it goes from like generality to density and complexity, right? So if you try to start with something like Leopards of the Magic Dawn, your brain will melt. Your brain will melt, but there's like one called like Odinani, the Igbo religion. That's a great one to start. And then you just move from there. So there's a recommended reading in the Patreon library. If you're interested in the library, and then like after that, like you're probably not going to read everything, but you might see something you're interested in. You can then go into the different folders that are specifically by the topic. So I have the topics or the different topics organized in whatever. So Obanje, Neme, Amadioha, all four Ikenga. I have them all separated by different categories, stuff like that. So if you're interested, you can go check the articles in the different spaces. I'll put the link here, patreon.com/the medicine shell. That's available to all patrons at all levels. So whatever level you're at, you get access to that, and so forth. Water tendencies, my sun sign, cool. Water spirit like Mami Wata. Yes, Mami Wata is a general term for what a class of water spirits, but yes, she's connected to water. She's from water, and she's of the same nature of Nime, very cosmetic, likes to look good, that kind of thing. U.S. educational system is terrible. It's not that terrible. Yeah. It's not that. If you think it's terrible, wait till you see the other shit. Urenna, Wyoma, Anyanwu Tutu. Ị ga-adị, ị ga-eto nke ọbụla itiri aka, ọ ga-adị n'ụwa ka dị n'ahụ n'eke n'orie n'afọ na nkwọ ise. Appreciate the donation, Urenna, and the constant support. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Or they realize they're yeah, everybody hates Chris. I think we're about to wrap it up, y'all. Is there a credible priest in America? Cassie. Most DBAs are credible. Everybody was talk about like looking for a credible one. Most DBAs are credible. But I don't know one in America. I don't know a DBA. Well, no, I know one guy, but he's wild. I'm not gonna recommend anybody to him, especially if you are an attractive female. It's not gonna happen. So I don't like the guy's character. But as far as being a DBA, absolute genius, just bugged out, So good luck on finding Cassie. Also, so because I got rid of the in-house DBA thing, I started doing one-to-ones, and because a lot of the stuff they're telling I can tell you too. The only difference is I don't do alpha. I can't do alpha. Um, so if you're interested in having a one-to-one, trying to figure things out from an ancestral perspective, or me applying what I know towards whatever you are facing, looking at, or trying to do, you can reach out on peopletalk.com. I think this is the link slash the. I'm going to test the link before I post it on People Talk. Medicine Shell. Or if you're a patron, you're an Eze patron, it's significantly more affordable to have a one-to-one. And what happens? I say, I send you a link. Let me do it here. So these are for the one-to-ones. If you have a one-off question, you can send it there and I'll answer. If you want to have a sit down where we're talking and then I send you something after with recommendations and so forth. Both options are available on peopletalk.com/the medicine shell. And if you're an Is It tier patron, just message me first. Don't do the People Talk. Message me first. Your route is significantly more affordable and that type of thing, like significantly. So do it that way. But yeah, guys, I think that's about it. I've whatever was possessing me earlier has decided to relax, and so I think it's time to end maybe if I said the U.S. education system was cool. Patrons uptake. Cool. Okay, so guys, as always, please do not go on your own. What does that mean? Oh, to a Debia? I mean, just know what you're dealing with, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I'm not recommending any because I deal with primarily two cultures, right? And I understand both cultures from an inside and an outside. And one thing I know is that you don't recommend an American to go talk to somebody and then close the door, right? Because y'all are wild. So I'm not going to do that. Maybe you guys don't know what I'm saying, but I know what I'm saying. And some of the people who have the similar life experience with me know what I'm saying too. So I'm not going to do that. So anyways, and then I gotta be fair to everybody. So yeah, so that last part probably didn't make sense, but it made sense to me. That's what counts. So we are going to wrap up, y'all. So thank you guys for coming in. Hold on, wait. Are crows, ravens significance in Igbo cosmology? Funny enough, let me find a link. I'm gonna post a link to his podcast soon. But the teacher for Kedu, the Igbo teacher for Kedu, Igbo 1 and Igbo 2, is a folklorist. He has a podcast that I think he should promote more if he's in the chat, where he shares different folklores on different animals, and like why they are regarded the way they're regarded, or what type of things, and then also like the traditional ones that like kids grow up with and so forth. So it's actually how I ended up finding him as a teacher. I can't find the link, but on Spotify it's Egu Onwa. If you guys are willing to be patient, I'm going to try to find it before I head off, because unless he changed the name, Chimeze, if you're in the chat, post your thing though. Iguanwa, Spotify. Okay, I'll send you guys a link. Now, here's the caveat. It is in Igbo. So if you are trying to learn the Igbo language from the guy, funny enough, that owns that thing, go to kedu.me. So right now, I've opened enrollments for the June session. If you're an Igbo 1 right now and you're still in the game, you are a warrior. But your class is running up. So your time is running up, that kind of thing. So the next session is going to be in June. And so I've opened enrollment for June. Those who want to take an Igbo or learn the Igbo language in the month of June, or for 3 months in the month of June. So the way Kedu works is that there are 3 levels of learning, right? There's Igbo 1. If you're at Igbo 1, either you're hearing the Igbo language for the first time, or you just cannot speak it, or maybe you cannot hear it, or maybe you have a slight grasp on one of those things, but not enough to fully say, I can hear the language, I can speak it, that kind of thing. So if that's your level, Igbo 1 is going to introduce you to the language, teach you how the language works, and by the time you walk out of Igbo 1, you should be able to say the most common things necessary in every single language, or to hold a small conversation, that kind of thing. You may have a harder time saying abstract things like talking about physics and all that stuff, but you'd be able to talk about your day. If I threw you into Igbo land after Igbo 1, you'll be able to navigate, right? That kind of thing. You'll be able to navigate just fine. You're not going to have a deep conversation about what happened to you as a kid, but you'll be able to navigate, right? That kind of thing. Igbo 2, these are the people who maybe you can hear the language, but you can't speak it. Maybe you can speak it, but you want to fix your pronunciation and your tone and your speaking ability. Maybe you just like there's some, it's there somewhere, but it's not refined to the level you want it to be. And then level 3 is where you're already able to speak it, but you want to reach a level where you are great at speaking the language. You are a great speaker, or you're reaching the level that our teachers and coaches are at, right? Native, like upper native level. Igbo 2 is like trying to attain the native level. 1 is learning. So those 3 options are there. We also have Kedu for kids. So Kedu kids. So if you have kids that you want to teach the language, we've developed a really effective, or I've developed a really effective method for teaching kids. I've used it to teach my son, and he's moving, that kind of thing, and so forth. And we have a great teacher for that who is phenomenal with kids. For those of you who are in Igbo 1, it's Uju. So it's Uju who is also the coach. But all people that are enrolled, you have your courses and then you have your coach. So your coach is a person that calls you either every day or as often as you would like. You can let her know, we'll do 3 days a week, we'll do 1 day a week, that kind of thing. If you're in Igbo 1, be called do every day, do every day, do every day, please. It helps. So you speak to this person every day, but then you go to your classes to learn new elements of the language so you can incorporate it into your conversation. So the combination of those 2 things, by the time you're done, you should be able to hold a natural, basic conversation, especially with Igbo 1. I've begun enrollment for Igbo, or for all levels. So go to kedu.me and sign up if you're interested in signing up for the June class, for the summer class, for the class for June, right? And again, it's 3 months. But if you want to start now, you can still sign up for the language coach, especially if you just need someone to practice with, and somebody to kind of help you like brush up little things. You can still sign up for the language coach at any time. Well, you don't have to wait till June. So that's all on Kedu.me. If you want to support the channel, how does someone become a coach? Send me an email. Send me an email. I'm always looking for individuals who are, there's a training period because there's like kind of specifics I teach that I necessary for doing the job well. And then requirements like here and there. But yeah, send me an email if you're interested and let me know. And so forth. So that's Kedu. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, if you enjoy what you see, or you had a good time in this chat, maybe it's your first time, maybe you've been thinking about it for a while and you haven't done it yet, the absolute best way to support the channel is by joining the Patreon at patreon.com/the medicine shell. So patrons have access to the library I was speaking about earlier. It is my medicine library. It is a library of hundreds of documents, books, articles, firsthand accounts of everything I discuss on this channel, and so forth. If you like, for example, if you go through my recommended folder, you should be able to have your own Igbo cosmology channel if that's an aspiration of yours, and so forth. But just that folder. But then there's way more beyond that, and so forth, sorted by category and interest and things like that. You also have access to my 13 or 12. Sometimes, some years it's 12. And I finally figured out which ones were which. I'll get to that in a minute. So you have access to the 13 moon Odinani calendar. So it tells you what moon we're in and what market day it is. The market day is particularly important because if you have an ancestral altar and you have Igbo ancestors, or you want to follow the ancestral Igbo way of doing things, your knowing your market day and acting accordingly is very important in the tradition itself, or knowing the Eke day, which is the day of rest, right? Knowing which day is Eke and that kind of thing. It's available. I also put like holidays and acknowledgments. If you are from like first generation, or maybe you're back home and you have traditions in your village, like specific times, okay, like where I'm from, we do O, right? We dance Owu. And I know the time of the year Owu starts and ends. So I don't know if I've done that yet, but I'm going to plug that into the calendar. The only person that has stepped forth and shared their traditions has been an Onitsha person. So I have a lot of the Onitsha holidays in there. So I want every community's holidays in there so that somebody from your community who doesn't know about this holiday will know, oh, okay, this is the time, and maybe they can go home that time and so forth. But all of that is available to patrons. It automatically syncs to your Google Calendar. Then we also have a group study. So kind of similar to this, only it's on Zoom. So we're all talking to each other. But yeah, cool. So we have a group study. So we pick different topics. We go way more in depth than I can do in the live, and so forth. So go ahead and join there, and that's all available to patrons. That being said, I'm assuming you're all subscribed. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Another good way to help the channel is by sharing this with somebody who you think would be interested. As always, unogade. As you can tell, I'm probably at Igbo 2-ish level. Ana m ekele ndụ ihe ọbụla ndụ tiri aka ọ ga-adị n'ụwa anyị niile nwere otu obi, otu uche, otu aka, otu ije. Ọ ga-adị nnọọ n'eke, n'orie, n'afọ, na nkwọ ise. Thank you, Chika. Appreciate it. Ego ole ka m ga-akwụ ibido? Okay. Ego ole ka a ga-akwụ ibido? Yeah, Jen, etiri m price nga ahụ, pia link jee fụ onye anyị tiri nga ahụ. Awesome. There's also a payment plan too if you're looking for a payment plan for Kedu. But all right, guys, take care.